Zana's echo whispers in the remote regions. The mysterious wild woman named Zana has captured the curiosity and imagination of the cryptozoological community for decades. Reportedly captured in the isolated mountain region of Abkhazia near the Black Sea in the late 19th century, Zana became essentially the Abkhazian version of Bigfoot. Her strange physical characteristics and seemingly supernatural abilities have fueled substantial debate and controversy over her true nature and origins. The details of Zana's capture, according to local legend retold in Russian scientist Igor Burtsev's writings, hunters captured Zana in 1890 or 1887 after subduing her with ropes and nets in a remote cave. She exerted monstrous strength in initially resisting capture and continued displaying fits of aggression toward her captors. At a glimpse, they mistook her for a nude human woman with long auburn hair since she ran upright rather than quadrupedally. Upon restraining her, though, they soon realized peculiar anatomical anomalies that were ape-like rather than human. Zana was eventually transferred to a local nobleman where she remained in captivity for the remainder of her life. Kept confined in a cage initially, she gradually adapted to domestic living quarters and lived there for 19 years until passing in 1890 at an estimated age of 35 years, allegedly from complications while giving birth to her youngest progeny. Physical description and attributes. Numerous eyewitness accounts concur that Zana did not resemble normal Homo sapiens in many bodily aspects. However, she also diverged from normal hominid classifications. Her most striking anomaly was that the black skin on her face, nipples, hands and feet starkly contrasted in pigmentation with thicker reddish fur covering the rest of her body. Zana's attributes. Her facial countenance appeared more primitive despite having relatively normal feminine features and facial expression capacity. She moved with a monkey-like gait, often using her palms when walking quadrupedally or bounding distances swiftly. Possessing incredible strength, she easily broke thick ropes, concrete walls and metal rods in her hands like breadsticks. Zana's partially pointed teeth had a deep yellow tinge and she could kill animals with one bite, eating prey raw after kills. She had exceptionally large breasts and excess body hair growth likened to a gorilla, though comparatively taller in stature. A prominent brow ridge shaded her eyes that some claim shifted red-tinged color in dim lighting. Despite physical adaptations for survival in the wilds, Zana's senses were strongly acute. Her hearing and vision were described as specially adapted for detecting prey. The wild woman. Though fundamentally brute and lacking higher intellect, Zana did begin mirroring her captor's behavior, showing ability to assimilate some degree of civility and basic communication skills over time. However, she only learned a few token words and communicated largely through gestures or guttural muttering. Reproduction and offspring. Astonishingly, Zana not only acclimated relatively well to capture after her initial violent reactions, but allegedly she became impregnated by a village man some years later and gave birth to several surviving progeny. Initially considered cursed demonic hybrid children, they grew into normal functioning humans who assimilated into society and had descendants of their own still living today. Genetic data extracted from Zana's great-grandson revealed her mitochondrial DNA belonged to haplogroup H2A2. This clade occurs commonly in European and Near Eastern populations today and does not comport with ancient hominid lineage. However, scientists had insufficient comparative DNA from candidate relic proto-humans like Paranthropus or Neanderthals to conclusively establish Zana's taxonomy through genetic fingerprints alone. Explanations for Zana's origins. Several conjectures persist around Zana's potential preternatural identity and origins, but none have achieved consensus acceptance. They span a range of hypothetical identities. Surviving Neanderthal tribe members. Some assert Zana descended from a remnant population of European Neanderthals avoiding extinction. Advocates believe she originated from relic tribes transplanted to the Caucasus through ancient Germanic Goth settlements. Under this premise, Neanderthals traditionally lacked interspecies breeding fertility barriers, allowing Zana's viable offspring with humans, evidencing some level of admixture compatibility. Asia floresiensis hobbit descendant. A variant premise suggests Zana's morphology better matches that of Homo floresiensis found in Indonesia or Denisovan hominins from Siberia regions. Supporting evidence remains tenuous given the substantial distance from Abkhazia and doubtful accounts of bipedal proto-humans surviving isolated for so long undocumented. Paranthropus robustus offshoot ancestor. Another tentative theory classifies Zana among robust Australopithecines rather than Neanderthal predecessors. Species like Paranthropus boisei or Paranthropus robustus match descriptions of Zana's protruding jawline and enlarged brow better than no Neanderthal anatomy. But Africa seems an unlikely point of origin, and this genus was believed extinct well before the relatively late emergence of Zana. Diseased feral woman. A more skeptical argument considers Zana an abandoned feral child lacking ordinary socialization rather than a biological non-human entity. Certain congenital conditions like albinism or hypertrichosis may have augmented her abnormal looks. This would rationally account for successful childbearing and Zana's basic behavioral adaptation to captivity over time. However, it fails to fully explain Zana's acute vision, hearing and strength levels surpassing human norms. Surviving hybrid demi-human. A few fringe theorists even contemplate Zana representing a demi-human progeny of earthly hominids crossbred anciently with unknown advanced extradimensional entities seeding intelligent life on this planet. Through this lens, demi-humans may have retreated below detectable levels through history, but their genetic lines endured in reclusive breeding enclaves or luck of throwback mutations. Deciphering truth from myth remains highly problematic with such a speculative picture. Ultimately, the bizarre story of Zana raises more perplexing questions than concrete answers about biology and human evolution. Through systematic genetic testing of her matrilineal descendants matched against broad databases accumulating from other anomalous bipedal specimens like the Yeti or Bigfoot, scientists may edge closer toward unraveling whether she belonged to a thus far unrecognized proto-human lineage or non-human offshoot distantly related to mankind. However, until modern science expands current knowledge of hominid biodiversity beyond standard models, Zana's origins seem fated to endure as an unsolved mystery.